Namaste, angels. This is the weekly general reading for the period of Sunday, June 28th through Saturday to come, July 4th, which is also known as the 4th of July, Independence Day in the United States of America for many, not for all. Some of you may have learned for the first time last week, June 19th, is Independence Day, or considered Independence Day for many Black people born in this country or descendant from this country, United States of America, because their ancestors were brought here or originated here some sort of way. But the Emancipation Proclamation that President Abraham Lincoln passed was to officially free the slaves, although many still were not free, and just it sort of melded in. Slavery sort of just mixed with the Jim Crow era, and it went on and on and on. But for all intents and purposes, June 19th or Juneteenth is considered the Independence Day for Black people, for many Black people. But is Independence Day for the United States of America on the 4th. We're going to get right into it because I realized that I failed to mention last week that on the 23rd, we began the month of Tammuz on the Hebrew or Jewish calendar. And so I didn't look anything up to like talk about, but off the top of my head, I did want to mention it because to me, it's an important month. It includes a feast day, which is also a fast day, called the 17th of Tammuz. And what that recognizes is the day that the Romans in the year 69 breached the walls of Jerusalem and the temples. Well, actually, specifically the second temple in Jerusalem was destroyed. And so that's recognized, and there's a fast day. And, you know, there's a belief that all of God's children, to Judeo belief, of course, are supposed to rebuild the temple. So every year, there's an effort to have risen to our highest selves to be able to be in a position to rebuild the temples of Jerusalem. It actually begins like a 3-week mourning period leading up to another feast day, Tisha B'Av. So I'll talk about more of that as we get closer to that date, but I just wanted to put it out there. It also, you know, you guys know I'm like a number weirdo too. The fact that it happened in the year 69 and it tends to fall during this period of Cancer, which is sort of represented by a 69 symbol, is always interesting to me too. And makes me think of, I mean, my original viewers, those of you who are still with me, you know that I also equate that energy to like Lilith and whatever. So I just think that that's what came over the city, or that's what brought that on. There's always a higher energy that's behind all these events, in my opinion. And that was that one. And I think she left her stamp there, right, with the year. I don't think there's anything that I was wanting to talk about that's fresh for this week from the Hebrew or Jewish calendar, or the Muslim or Islamic calendar. So we'll go straight to the Christian one, beginning with Monday, the 29th. Of course, it's the 29th. It is the feast day of Saints Peter and Paul. And so for that, we won't take it off the top of my head. I have gone to www.franciscanmedia.org. St. Mark ends the first half of his gospel with a triumphant climax. He has recorded doubt, misunderstanding, and the opposition of many to Jesus. Now Peter makes his great confession of faith. Quote, "You are the Messiah." Mark 8:29. It was one of the many glorious moments in Peter's life, beginning with the day that he was called from his nets along the Sea of Galilee to become a fisher of men for Jesus. The New Testament clearly shows Peter as the leader of the apostles. I disagree. I think it clearly shows Mary Magdalene, but that's for another debate. Chosen by Jesus to have a special relationship with him. With James and John, he was privileged to witness the transfiguration, the raising of the dead to life, and the agony in Gethsemane. His mother-in-law was cured by Jesus. He was sent with John to prepare for the last Passover before Jesus' death. His name is first on every list of apostles. And to Peter, only did Jesus say, quote, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my heavenly Father. And so I say to you, you are Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of the netherworld shall not prevail against it. I will give you the keys to my kingdom in heaven. Whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven," right? As above, so below. "Whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven." Matthew 16:17 through 19. But the Gospels prove their own trustworthiness by the unflattering details that they include about Peter. He clearly had no public relations person. It is a great comfort for ordinary mortals to know that Peter also has his human weaknesses, even in the presence of Jesus. He generously gave up all things, yet he can ask in childish self-regard, quote, "What are we going to get for all of this?" See Matthew 19:27. He receives the full force of Christ's anger when he objects to the idea of a suffering Messiah. Quote, "Get behind me, Satan. You are an obstacle to me. You are thinking not as God does, but as human beings do." End quote. Matthew 16:23. Peter is willing to accept Jesus' doctrine of forgiveness, but suggests a limit of 7 times. He walks on the water in faith, but sinks in doubt. He refuses to let Jesus wash his feet, then wants his whole body cleansed. He swears at the Last Supper that he will never deny Jesus, and then swears to a servant maid that he has never known the man. He loyally resists first attempt to arrest Jesus by cutting off Malchus's ear, but in the end, he runs away with the others. In the depth of his sorrow, Jesus looks on him and forgives him, and he goes out and sheds bitter tears. The risen Jesus told Peter to feed his lambs and his sheep. John 21:15 through 17. If the most well-known preacher today suddenly began preaching that the United States should adopt Marxism and not rely on the Constitution, the angry reaction would help us to understand Paul's life when he started preaching that Christ alone can save us. He'd been the most Pharisaic of the Pharisees, the most legalistic of Mosaic lawyers. Now he suddenly appears to other Jews as a heretical welcomer of Gentiles, a traitor and an apostate. Paul's central conviction was simple and absolute. Only God can save humanity. No human effort, even the most scrupulous observance of law, can create a human good which can bring to God as reparation for sin and payment for grace. To be saved from itself, from sin, from the devil, and from death, humanity must open itself completely to the saving power of Jesus. Paul never lost his love for his Jewish family, though he carried on a lifelong debate with them about the uselessness of the law without Christ. He reminded the Gentiles that they were grafted on the parent stock of the Jews, who were still God's chosen people, the children of the promise. We would probably go to a confession to Peter sooner than to any of the other apostles. He is perhaps a more striking example of the simple fact of holiness. Jesus says to us, as he said in effect to Peter, quote, "It is not you who have chosen me, but I who have chosen you, Peter." It is not human wisdom that makes it possible for you to believe, but my Father's revelation. I, not you, build my church. End quote. Paul's experience of the risen Jesus on the road to Damascus was the driving force that made him one of the most zealous, dynamic, and courageous ambassadors of Christ the church has ever had. But persecution, humiliation, and weakness became his day-by-day carrying of the cross, material for further transformation. The dying Christ was in him. The living Christ was his life. St. Paul is the patron saint of Greece. And they're celebrated together. It wasn't made clear by that I just read, because they're believed to have been martyred or killed for their beliefs or their belief in Christ together. And this is supposedly the date, right? The 29th. That's the date that's recognized. And then lastly, from the Christian calendar, on Friday the 3rd, people will celebrate the feast of St. Thomas the Apostle. Thomas means twin, by the way. I know this because Thomas is my family name. So you can look it up for yourself. But Thomas means twin. And I just find it very much associated with twin flames. I no longer identify as a twin flame. I only did for a brief time. I don't like the title or what it became. But I still connect the Thomas and the twin thing to that. And then personally for me, it's always been funny, or as long as I've known that Thomas meant twin, it's been funny because my dad is indeed a twin and his brothers are also twins, meaning my grandmother had twin sets of twins. And my grandfather was one of the builders of the Twin Towers in New York. So that is my story. All right, so let's learn about St. Thomas's story. And again, I went to franciscanmedia.org. Poor Thomas, he made one remark and has been branded Doubting Thomas ever since. But if he doubted, he also believed. He made what is certainly the most explicit statement of faith in the New Testament. Quote, "My Lord and my God," end quote. And in so expressing his faith, he gave Christians a prayer that will be said to the end of time. He also occasioned a compliment from Jesus to all later Christians. Quote, "Have you come to believe Jesus because you have seen me? Blessed are those who have not seen and who have believed." End quote. John 20:29. Thomas should be equally well known for his courage. Perhaps what he said was impetuous since he ran like the rest at the showdown, but he can scarcely have been insincere when he expressed his willingness to die with Jesus. The occasion was when Jesus proposed to go to Bethany after Lazarus had died. Since Bethany was near Jerusalem, this meant walking into the very midst of his enemies and to almost certain death. Realizing this, Thomas said to the other apostles, quote, "Let us also go to die with him," end quote. John 11:16. Thomas shares the lot of Peter, the impetuous, James and John, the sons of thunder, Philip and his foolish request to see the Father. Indeed, all the apostles in their weakness and lack of understanding. We must not exaggerate these facts, however, for Christ did not pick worthless men. But their human weakness, again, points up the fact that holiness is a gift from God, not a human creation. It is given to ordinary men and women with weaknesses. It is God who gradually transforms the weaknesses into the image of Christ, the courageous, trusting, and loving one. And I think a lot of that is happening this week, just based on the cards and what came through my meditations this week. I think, speaking of twins and twin flames, relationships, soulmate relationships, divine unions, I think not only individuals going through a particular ascension this week, but relationships and unions. And I'll get to more of that in a second. Saint Thomas is the patron saint of architects, builders, construction workers, surveyors. See, that's funny. My grandfather was a construction worker, one of only 3 black men to have been a builder of the Twin Towers. India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and theologians. Speaking of India, another interesting story, so this one's off the top of my head, involving St. Thomas, is that Mary, Jesus' mother, left him her girdle when she died. So because he was doubting, right, she knew that she had to like show him something. And he came to be called Doubting Thomas because he missed the resurrection. He wasn't there. He was supposed to be there and he wasn't there. So he missed Jesus coming and he said, well, I'm not going to believe it until I can see his wounds and put my fingers in them. And, you know, if I can do that, then I'll believe, okay, this man came back from the dead. So knowing that when Mary died, she didn't leave her body behind either. She too was assumed or ascended directly into heaven, or so it's believed and said, right? So when she did, she knew she had to leave Thomas something to prove to him that had really occurred. So she left him her girdle. And it's said to still exist in this church in Tuscany. I forget the name of the church. Man, I should have looked it up. But you guys can look it up. If you look up Mary's girdle or Thomas's girdle, sometimes it's called that. But it's the girdle that Mary gave to him. Oh, and I said, speaking of India, because he was supposedly on his way back from India, like at the time when she died, and that was why he wasn't going to be around to witness the Assumption himself. All right, that said, that note, let's get into what we got here. Weekend away. So again, this can literally be travel, a weekend away, long weekend, maybe because the 4th, right? For us in the United States, at least, 4th of July falls this week. At the end of the week. So maybe you're off on Monday or something because the holiday is a Saturday. So I think that's the way it should be. With a federal holiday, it should be the following Monday if the holiday is a Saturday that you're off. So that could be that. But weekend away could also be like a weekend where you, you know, like break away, get away from your norm, do something different. A weekend away from, you know, your worries, or your family, you know, your friends, in solitude on your own, meditation, or can be all those things. 29, spiritual partnership. So I said I was feeling a lot of stuff about partnership and the ascension of partnerships and as well as individuals. So 29 is all about spiritual partnership. It doesn't have to be romantic. It can be friendship, you know, maybe like BFFs or something. It can be familial. It can be a work relationship, like business partners or something like that, because this is the general reading. This is not like a love reading. And also it's 50-50. Now, 50-50 can definitely tie to partnerships, but it can be about balance too, and the ability to both give and receive. And that reminds me, I forgot something. I got to talk about Saturn retrograde. Saturn goes retrograde in Capricorn this week, and I had notes about that too, I think. One sec. Yes, I didn't do the planetary overview, so sorry. Okay, I'll do it quickly. So this reading begins with the 28th of June, Sunday. So June 28th at 4:16 a.m., we experienced the quarter moon in Libra. June 30th at 1:46 a.m., Jupiter, which is the ruler of Sagittarius, which is currently retrograde in Capricorn, along with Pluto, will be conjunct Pluto. So both of them will be at 24 degrees Capricorn on June 30th at 1:46 a.m., which equals 11, by the way. The time I was talking about. July 1st at 7:37 p.m. or July 1st equals 8 and 7:37 equals 8 also. Saturn retrograde enters Capricorn. And then that's it for the week. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about that. And I pulled this from www.tarot.com. Saturn in Capricorn, mature, responsible, and ambitious. This transit will last from July 1st through December 16th. So it's pretty long. Saturn and Capricorn are like two astrological peas in a pod. Saturn is a disciplinarian, the planet that likes to take us to task. As the father of the zodiac, Capricorn wants us to not only set long-term goals, but also asks us to create a plan that helps us to work toward accomplishing them. So when Saturn makes its trip through the sign of Capricorn, it could feel like we're going through our very own cosmic rite of passage. So like I was saying, some sort of ascension, transition, transformation, I've very much been feeling. And I think it's gonna coincide with not only what we hear and read, and historical, what we already went over, but what we're gonna see in the cards. As the natural ruler of Capricorn, Saturn is at home in this sign and enhances the very best that Capricorn has to offer. This is a period when we'll build solid foundations using our powers of endurance, productivity, and fortitude. Is this an easy transit? No. I don't remember myself liking Saturn retrograde in Capricorn one bit. This is not the first time. It's been retrograde there, I think like the past 2 years, and I don't remember being a fan of it. But it says here, is this an easy transit? No, I would agree. But Saturn in Capricorn teaches us that the tougher the lesson, the bigger the blessing. If we do what the transit asks of us, we'll be rewarded for years to come. Saturn is the task maker of the zodiac, a teacher who helps us to show our boundaries and structures. Capricorn is a disciplined sign that concerns itself with status and power. Both Saturn and Capricorn know that success takes effort, so there's no taking the easy way out during this transit. This is a time when we'll plan for the future, build strong foundations, and put in the work needed to reap the benefits. Capricorn and Saturn want us to strive for security. Unfortunately, this can lead to feelings of doubt, doubting Thomas, insecurity, and anxiety during this transit. We'll fear failure more than we normally would, possibly spending too much time worrying about whether everything we've worked hard for will fall apart or never come to fruition. Instead of letting it deter us, we should use this as motivation to push forward even harder than before. Saturn in Capricorn may not sound like the most exciting transit, but it can be one of the most beneficial ones to go through. This cosmic combination urges us to aim high, put our noses to the grindstone, and get concrete results. Think of Saturn in Capricorn as the ultimate get your act together transit. When Saturn's retrograde in Capricorn, everything that supports the foundation of our worlds will be up for review. This is a period of slowing down and reevaluating over our personal structures, obligations, and goals with more focus and clarity. Issues surrounding status, control, and our relationship to authority may arise when Saturn moves backward through the sign of Capricorn. So imagine that in relation to what's going on, not only around the country, United States, but some of my viewers, I have viewers in on every continent except Antarctica, actually. So you could be anywhere in the world right now. But those of you who have been affected by what's been going on around the world lately, between COVID and the Black Lives Matter movement and all of this stuff, that is definitely challenges to relationships with authority, right? From the local dealing with police to our so-called president and leaders in that sense, the people bucking authority. So that is probably going to become more and more intense over the next coming months with this Saturn transit. Respect matters to this planet and to this sign. So they're talking about Saturn and Capricorn there. So the theme of giving and receiving, this is what made me think about it. Remember I was talking about 50-50. I was saying it could be about giving and receiving. And that's what made me think about Saturn and Capricorn. Isn't that crazy? But yes, I agree. The theme of giving and receiving respect may come up and possibly may become a point of contention during this retrograde. So again, I think that that could easily apply in a much more larger way in terms of what's going on around the globe as well. All right, so back to the dice. Spirit says romantic dinner, party, and forget it. Speaking of party, happy birthday to all the Cancers out there celebrating. Those of you who are still celebrating graduations and things. My friend's son just graduated today, finally. Whatever you're celebrating. June, again, is the month most known for weddings. So some of you may be still getting married. Congratulations. Or celebrating anniversaries because you already got married in the month of June sometime prior. Congratulations to you as well. All right, so with the cards, like I was saying, they showed me ascension, beginning with this one, drink more water and Oshan. She always shows up when there's ascension because it can make you very thirsty. Ascension symptoms can make you very thirsty. When I work on people too, they get very thirsty, they get very tired, lightheaded, and so it's very similar symptoms. Ascension. Focus upon your strengths, says Apollo. Nurture yourself, says Mary. Artistic expression, says Paul the Venetian. This can be about, like, for me, expressing yourself in creative ways, like coming up with artistic or creative ways to get your messages across. Father, husband, brother, son, Osiris, is about having a masculine energy in your life with whom you have some sort of relationship to heal. It can be yourself. It can be your own inner masculine, right? It's 50-50. We're 50-50 also. All souls are androgynous at the soul level, and we all have a masculine archetype within and a feminine archetype within. And so it can be a relationship with yourself or some other masculine and or male energy in your life, your father, brother, husband, son, with whom you have some sort of relationship to heal. From the numerology deck, only one is upright, and it is 16, rebirth. So this is another card that's very like Pluto, Scorpio, which is also retrograde in Capricorn, by the way. Pluto is death. It's about transition, transformation, ascension. The card behind it is in reverse, but it's forgiveness, which came up quite a bit in what I was reading a moment ago. And with the angel and animal tarots, the 8 of spring. You've been presented with many wonderful opportunities all at once. While this may feel very stressful, remember to be grateful for the blessings that heaven sends you. So the 8 of wands is a card of communication. It can mean that you're going to receive some sort of message. It can even be about something like you ordered, you're waiting for a package. With it upright, whatever it is like coming right on time. Even if you're not expecting it, something comes out of the blue. It's coming when it's meant. When it's in reverse, there's a delay. It's been held up. So some of us should get some communication. And very timely communication, but again. Also, the universe working behind the scenes to do other things in our favor. 8 is a super karmic number. Tends to be representative for me of the universe working in our behalf behind the scenes. With it being of the suit of spring or wands or fire, could directly be connected to Jupiter or Mars, or one of the fire signs more directly, Sagittarius, Leo, Aries. Major Arcana card 1, the Magician, represents the sign of Gemini most directly and is all about manifestation. There is magic in the air. You can manifest everything you need to be successful. And it might be after some sort of difficult time. Maybe difficult time in your manifestation process or in some other aspect of your life. The end of a career path, project, or relationship can bring feelings of mixed joy and sadness, relief and disappointment. Put aside your fears about these changes and trust that a brighter future awaits. The next card is in reverse, but I will tell you, oh, okay. I was going to say, I will tell you it's the Six of Summer or Cups, which is about our past. So all of this stuff can be like, it's like a long time coming, but it's still right on time, happening now again. The love and care of children could become an important part of your life, or people from your childhood may return to it. Old memories can be healed, or possibly old childhood dreams are ready to be revived, and definitely could have something to do with some sort of relationship or contract with Major Arcana card 5, Unity, or the Hierophant, having been picked up with this. And I was only trying to pick up the Six of Summer, and I picked this one up also accidentally. So embrace this time of deep spiritual growth. You may feel called to act as a mentor, to find a new teacher, or to spend time with others who are also on a sacred path. The Hierophant most directly represents the sign of Taurus. And what I revealed when I picked the 2 cards up instead of just the one that I meant to, the Ace of Water is right behind it. Falling in love, or the resurgence of a relationship, spiritual growth and enhanced intuition, maybe even a new home. And the Queen of Water of Cups as well. She is tenderhearted, empathetic, patient, and loving. Relationships develop to a new level. Trust your intuition. Care for yourself and others. In addition to those traits, she is also a Scorpio, most directly in traditional tarot practice. The Queen is the Scorpio, but of course can also be Pisces or Cancer, or someone that's likened to these traits and attributes. It's also like a very motherly kind of card. All right, so we're going to begin with these first. I think I'm going to keep these close because I may do some clarification with them and what's now being called layering by other people. Something that I've been doing for years. So if you see me doing it and don't think, oh, she's doing that thing that so-and-so does. No, they're doing that thing that I do. I have over 2,000 videos on YouTube, but there is and has always been many people that copy me, but most recently in this regard with the layering, this one woman who has a much larger channel than mine, still she's clearly very taken with me because she's always mimicking me. They say that is the best form of flattery, right? To mimic people, to copy them. It means that you're flattering with them, you're taken with them. So she's been calling it layering and acting as if it's something that she came up with. But I promise you, I've been doing this for years, and you can look at my over 2,000 videos on YouTube going back for years to prove it if necessary. I'm in like a mood today. I woke up with my friend, as they say, unexpectedly. So, you know, you other women out there know what I'm talking about, know how I feel. Major Arcana card 3, the Empress represents the planet Venus and the signs that she rules, which are Taurus, again, just like the Hierophant we just saw, Libra, and Gemini. She is the esoteric ruler of Gemini, where she's currently located, by the way. Lavish abundance, give birth to your dreams, nurture yourself and others. And the 2 of Fire or Wands. And I say I felt soulmate relationships, twin flame relationships. This week, there's some sort of ascension of those relationships. There could definitely be reconnection of those relationships, even if it's been a long time coming. You've come into your own. New partnerships or contracts continue to move forward. Yes, but the 2 of Wands is the twin flame or divine union or soulmate card of the tarot. 2s in general about faith. So this number is very important, or this card is very important in terms of manifestation too, because it's like action, faith and action, right? The fire is about movement. is about action. That's what the suit of wands is all about. And fire signs are all about taking action. And so the 2 is the faith. So it's like what the scriptures say about prayer without works, right? This is the 2 is the prayer, is the faith, and the action is the works. So if you're trying to manifest something, it's about your mental. This is a reminder to keep your thoughts positive, keep your eye on the prize, even if nothing's taken form yet. Don't be a doubting Thomas in yourself. Believe that you can bring it about. Behind it also upright is the 5 of spring or wands. Now, in a positive sense, this card for me sometimes can be representative of just that, like taking action, like by any means necessary, pursuing what you want in a very passionate and aggressive way, like the planet Mars, right? The planet of action and aggression. More traditionally in the tarot, it tends to have to do something with some sort of conflict, often at work, conflict and or competition at work or over finances. It can be connected to relationship too. Whereas the person that you're interested in or with whom you have a relationship may have a lot of other suitors or people who are also interested. And there can be a desire to compete with you. Or it can be something like I was just talking about. Maybe I was meant to go on that little tiny rant while I was shuffling about the other woman because that's competition in my work, right? Or it would be competition in my work, even though I'm not trying to compete with anybody. There's somebody trying to compete with me still. And it can be representative of that kind of energy. You guys may experience something along the same lines this week. I'll do it like this. Crowning the masculine. So I talked about transition, transformation, and right out of the gate, we're coming with Major Arcana card 13, release or death. It's time to release the past and to move on to something new. This ending is the first step on the way to a happier future. Surrounding the masculine, the king of autumn. So we're starting right away with very Pluto in Capricorn. The king of autumn, compassionate, accomplished, charismatic, and grounded. Everything's going to turn out great. Projects will be stunningly successful. Exciting new career opportunities are possible. And money or resources that come your way will be invested wisely. The king of autumn is a Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Perhaps more importantly, if it's not a person, an actual person that's going to be particularly significant in your life this week, it's representative of abundance, financial, material, something of value to you. Masculine subconscious, the queen of autumn. Can you believe that? She is thoughtful, caring, creative, and ingenious. I love when you guys see me like shuffle as much as I can, a million different piles, and the way that the cards still fall this way. You'll be given advice that's both practical and creative and should be followed precisely. Focus only upon the positive in every situation or person. The queen of autumn, like the king, again, is a Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Most traditionally, the queen in the tarot is the Taurus, the fixed sign. So for some of you who are watching, this is definitely a relationship reading, at least thus far. That's what it means when the king and queen of the same suit pop up in the same spread. And not only have they popped up in the same spread, but one after the other. Crowning the feminine. Very nice. The 4 of spring, 4 of wands. It's time to kick back, relax, and to celebrate all that you have. Joy arises from success in your career, the completion of a project, or a very happy home life. Feminine surrounded by the 3 of autumn or pentacles. Your most satisfying and profitable career, or anything really, your relationships, all of that, anything in your life, comes from following your passions, listening to your heart, and doing what brings you joy. Your life purpose is best fulfilled by allowing your true talents and true self to shine forth out into the world. So again, some of you may have some sort of competition or something at work. Maybe you're up for a promotion. I like how it's mirroring this King of Pentacles here. Some sort of recognition. If it's not work, this is still about abundance that is earned for me. The Three of Autumn, some sort of abundance that's on its way to you because you deserve it. Whether you physically did something on this plane to earn it, or it's your karma paying off, then that's why it's coming to you. Also, threes, when they come up, can be connected to what I call parties of three. So some sort of second and third energy involved. Sometimes love triangles, not always. It could be other things too. Coming up with this three, but so far it looks like even if it is a love triangle or if there's three people involved in a relationship, whether they know it or not, everything's pleasant, it appears right now. Feminine subconscious, the Five of Water, Five of Cups. So this is like disappointment. This is not being exactly as happy as you could be. Things not turning out the way you'd hoped. Not seeing the positive in a situation and crying over spilled milk. This is doubt, pessimism, disappointment. But in this placement of the feminine subconscious, like that's not reality. This is reality. The Four of Wands, very happy home life, contentment, household, family, things going well in that area. This is reality. The Three of Autumn, Three of Pentacles, abundance that is earned, something coming your way, some sort of, it's monetary, it is material, it's recognition, it's the correction of the righting of a wrong, especially where your name is concerned. Like if there had been, for example, gossip about you. The same way that the story got out and around wrong, it's like going to be corrected in public too, when it's that. On a larger scale, again, like global scale, the country, the righting of wrongs also. Crowning, the Seven of Earth of Pentacles. Seeds well planted, a temporary pause in action, unnecessary worry. So if you don't see anything happening, that's not the reason to rush to doubt or disappointment, is what this means. You still have to trust that you've done what you needed to do in order to receive the abundance that's supposed to be coming to you. And, let the universe do the rest. The root or foundation, the King of Water or Cups, trustworthy, compassionate, respected, and cultured. Open your heart and mind to those around you. Trustworthy and heartfelt advice, this card is also about. So if you receive some, it's like you can trust it. Even if it's coming from somebody who maybe previously you had to doubt, and you say, I don't know if I can trust him or her. Last time I did, it wasn't. When the King of Cups shows up, it's saying that it's saying it's legit. Also, this is about charity work. So if you have an opportunity to be generous, if you receive some sort of abundance, generosity, and you're able to pay it forward, also guided to do that right now. At the heart of the matter, the Ace of Air, Ace of Swords, brilliant new ideas and inspirations, seeing the truth of a situation and a challenging beginning. So this often comes after the Ten of Swords, which we just saw a few moments ago when I was going over the cards. Right after the period of difficulty, here's the fresh start. That's what the Ace of Swords is all about. It's like, not like the other cards, the other aces where, they tend to just be happy. Like the Ace of Pentacles is just about you getting some, money or help, assistance. And so it's a really positive card. The Ace of Cups is all about love and fresh starts, new beginnings, easy, I'm just feeling good inside, emotional fulfillment and all that. And the Ace of Wands is about new opportunity, right? Fire, something I'm really passionate about. But the Ace of Swords, it can still cut. For one thing, it is used to cut to the truth of a matter. In many cases, it's a card that's representative of justice and victory. But a lot of the times the victory is because it's on the heels of difficulties. It's like a mama, we made it card. We struggle, but we got here. It's like a I'm still here card. Further clarifying these, crowning the masculine here, clarifying the Death card is Major Arcana card 17, the Star. Happy times. Make positive, optimistic, long-term plans. You are on the right path. Now, what did this card talk about? It talked about the future. The ending is the first step on the way to a happier future. And this one is about long-term plans, something you manifested. So in order for this to come in, you have to let go of this. You have to allow for the transition and transformation. And that's what Saturn in Capricorn was telling us about too, in the retrograde. So that's very important this week, not to try to hold on to your old situations or the status quo, whatever you're dealing with now, or whomever you're dealing with now. If something is trying to leave you, or someone is trying to leave you, let it go. Let them go. That's how you're going to make way for more positivity to come toward you in the future. Something that you've wanted anyway, that you've been manifesting. And it could be with that same thing or person, but you might have to release it. Like if you love someone, set them free. That saying, you may have to release it in order for it to come around to you the way you've been praying for it to happen. The star, by the way, most directly represents the sign of Aquarius. It can also be about communication. So you could receive some sort of communication too that brings you closure and allows for something to come to an end, like an end. It's never going to exist in this way again with death. That's done. That communication, and it may come through some sort of like video or pictures or Skype, Zoom, some sort of like online or like other than the phone, maybe like, other technical way, texts. Clarifying the King of Autumn. It's another 4 of fire, 4 of wands. So you've got one here, and on the masculine have one of their own. Contentment, peace, and abundance. A happy home life and the successful completion of a project. So this can be the money that you've been needing for your home or for your household, for your family to do something, some abundance that you've been waiting for. Maybe you prayed on it, or you made a focused intention. If you don't believe in prayer, manifestation is prayer. Prayer is manifestation, but just by a different name. A focused intention, positive thought, bringing something to reality. So it may be connected to your home, your household, your family, your peace of mind, your security, successful completion. Atop the Queen of Autumn, the Prince of Summer, the Knight of Cups, clarifying the Queen of Pentacles. Romantic, flirtatious, introspective, and enchanting. A deeply emotional and probably romantic experience will sweep you off your feet. Things can move very quickly during such whirlwind encounters. So stay balanced and make decisions with both your heart and your intellect. The Knight of Cups, for me, can be about somebody who's returning to your life. Not necessarily romantically, but very, very possibly. And maybe even it's going to be romantic now. It wasn't before. So the dynamic is changing. Again, it's not going to exist in the same way ever again. This is something new. He is perhaps a Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer, or someone likened to those traits or attributes also. Crowning the feminine, atop our 4 of wands is the 10 of fire of wands. Too much work, accept help from others. Life is out of balance, and that can cause stress-related health concerns. So for us, first of all, 10s are about something coming to an end too. But this one can be about balance and the need for that peace of mind that the 4 of wands is supposed to represent. So some of us could have been experiencing some sort of stress in our home, and that is coming to an end. Maybe that is part of our abundance and what we're deserving of. That's coming to an end. That may explain why there's been like doubt and question here, and not complete happiness, because it's like I'm dealing with something. So that something is coming to an end too. Top the Three of Autumn, Three of Pentacles. It is another major arcana card, 13, release or death. So it's like that time that, again, the struggle that we were going through is what we're releasing and letting go of and moving into a place of abundance. It's the end of a phase or situation. Okay, we got confirmation of that right there. Spiritual transformation. It's time to move on. Major Arcana card 13, release or death, most directly represents this sign of Scorpio. And atop that 5 of Water of Cups is the 8 of Water of Cups, a desire to move on, the search for something more meaningful, spiritual and emotional growth. And that's exactly what's happening here for the feminine. So again, something that was trying, coming to an end. It's not going to be like that at all anymore. And it's going to be replaced by something that you've wanted, something for which you've prayed. So some sort of relief in your life that is represented by this 3 of Pentacles. Just like the masculine guy, right? Trading this for this. We're trading this for this. It could have to do with moving too. A feminine who's in a living condition or situation that they're just tired and want out of. This week you could be receiving some sort of letter or something, call, notice of a home you wanted, or maybe a loan to do something with, to make improvements to your own situation, an apartment you applied for, something like that. Atop the 7 of Earth of Pentacles, it's the 8 of Earth of Pentacles. Very nice progression. Skilled work is rewarded. Learning all there is to know about a topic and going back to school. This card for me is all about reaping what you've sown. So here again is for what you were praying, what you waited. Don't panic because you can't see it yet. It's coming. For some, by the end of the week, I think you will get some sort of confirmation, some sort of call or notice or something in the mail. And it's because you're reaping what you've sown. You're receiving the abundance that you earned. You did the work, so now you're getting the reward. At the root or foundation, atop the King of Cups, is the Knight of Earth, the Knight of Pentacles. Loyal, dedicated, honorable, and kind. It's time to buckle down and get things done. Honor your commitments. You have a guardian angel. So again, this thing that you've been wanting, that you've been praying, or this person, very possibly a person, love, romance, it's for some been a long time coming. The Knight of Pentacles can be a very slow moving but consistent energy. So it's like it's been consistently coming even if you couldn't see it. And now, definitely this week, there will be something for many of you to actually see. And there's a lot of characters showing up here too. And there's a lot of representation of like the Pluto in Capricorn. Because we got that King of Pentacles under here too. And we got that Scorpio energy under here too. So it's like over and over. The Knight of Earth is a Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo, or someone likened to those traits or attributes if it's an actual person in your life. And at the heart of the matter, atop the Ace of Air, is Major Arcana card 5, Unity or the Hierophant. Traditional viewpoints or methods, spiritual organizations. Seek out mentors and like-minded friends. Again, the Hierophant most directly connects to the sign of Taurus. It is about contracts. It is about authority. For me, sometimes government agencies. It's very much what we read about with Saturn and Capricorn, the retrograde. Facing authority for in a more personal level. It can. People like to talk about the fact that it can be about marriage and stuff like that, and that's true and that's important. And for some, that may be what it's about with these 2 fours of wands here, the Knight of Cups, the Star, the Three of Pentacles, things for which people have been praying. I've been praying for a really wonderful relationship. The King of Cups, it could definitely be that. But for other people, places, and things in your life with which you do not align because you have ascended, or because this week you ascend beyond them. So you could find some relationships falling apart. You can find yourself not wanting to spend time in the places where you had been spending time. Maybe you're home. I got to get out of this living condition. I can't stay here a minute more, because you no longer resonate. You no longer align. You have ascended beyond these people, places, and things. And so the Hierophant shows up to represent a need to leave, right? The search for something more meaningful, desire to move on. I got to get up out of here, away from this. It does not match with your vibration. That is the biggest meaning of the Hierophant for me. So some of you are going to have to make adjustments, or you're going to find yourself making, or you're going to find adjustments happening. People falling away. Again, places that you wanted to spend time before, they're going away. Things you wanted to deal with before, maybe addictions and stuff like that, going away, because of this new you. It can happen anytime during this period. And I would say up to and through August. I don't know if you guys see all the 8s, but I do. The 17 is an 8. The 8 is here too. The 8 is here too. And the 8's been coming up quite a bit, with the 5 in the middle being about change. So this change is coming about for you, to you, with you, by August. But for some of you, it's this week. It's this week. Relationships coming together. Also, on a more positive note, coming together with people with whom you do align, and people who do match your vibration. So again, it can be things like twin flame relationships coming back together, your soulmates and things returning. You had fallen out of alignment before. That's why you needed to be separation, or that's why you hadn't met them, but now in alignment this week, so you can come together. And then the other side of that is people and places and things falling away. Further to all of this, we'll do some advice for everyone from each deck here. We had a lot of these Angel Tarot cards this week. There and here. But y'all saw me cut them, so it is what it is. Numerology. Again, we began with rebirth. I'll go ahead. Oh, and look, opening to karmic completion. That's what I was trying to explain. Like something coming to a complete end. You finish with that path, and now you're transcending that and transitioning into a new phase. So that I'm glad that I did that there. Let's go ahead and shuffle these a little bit. Let's see what we get. So that's the rebirth. Spiritual partnership, right? Twin flame, divine union, sacred union, whatever you call it, soulmate. Rebirth. Okay, patience was required for this too. Faith required also, but 2s are also about partnership. A long time coming. That's what I was saying with the Knight of Pentacles. This King of Cups has been a long time coming. This emotional fulfillment that I've been looking for and waiting for. But patience paying off. Our crowning card here also about patience. Right, the 7 of Pentacles is about patience. But then here's the reward, paying off. The work that I did, paying off. Leadership. Very King of Wands. We haven't seen him here. But then, didn't they call Capricorn the father of the zodiac in that Saturn and Capricorn thing? Physical activity, 13. That can come into play from Cancer, the sign of Cancer, especially for women. You may find yourself doing or wanting to do more exercise than usual. Cancer rules like the stomach, the breast, the chest. So all those areas where we tend to puff up when we gain our weight. 48, financial discipline. I would say for the abundance that's coming to you, not because you're at risk of losing, there's abundance that's coming to you. You're going to have to be responsible with it. Parenting can be involved, whether you're the parent or the child. And I'll stop at individuality. I think that covers everything I talked about before I did the cards. Remember I said I felt ascension for individuals and for relationships. I think we just saw all of that in these cards. And that brings us to music. So could be some special messages coming through music too. And that may be a focus of the ascension, maybe some new gifts for you or increased gifts for you, for us in the area of clairaudience, where you hear sounds that sometimes no one else can hear. You hear them loud and clear in your head. That's clairaudience. Or it can be hearing something like music playing on the radio, like genuinely playing that everybody can hear, but through it is a message that you receive because you are on a different level, right? You've ascended to a point with regard to your hearing that it is clear or clear audience for you. You're getting a clear message through that sound. Lastly, again, the Ascended Master deck. So we talked about Oshun already. Here is Teacher, which is a very Hierophant kind of card too. Horus, you are seeing the situation accurately. That's what he has to say. And clear and shield your energy, El Moria. Boom, flow of prosperity, says Lakshmi. So it goes along with everything we've seen, right? And there's nothing else up right behind her. This is about the abundance that's coming to folks. I'm going to say beginning this week, but I think a lot of it is this week. For some, that ascension is going to be necessary for your next step, for you to really get to see the abundance. So again, up to August, I think. From the masculine, mother, wife, sister, daughter, Lady Nada. So just like I was saying in the beginning to everybody about Osiris and husband, father, brother, son, there is a feminine energy in your life, possibly female also, with whom you have a relationship to heal. Healing can be, at least in my opinion, fixing it, if both parties are interested in that, or walking away from it. That's healing too, right? Especially if you get closure, which was an indication here for the masculine that there may be some actual closure for him in the situation. Feminine, find the blessing in your current situation. That's exactly what we're told to do with the Five of Cups. Again, the Five of Cups is a card of disappointment, doubt, but it's pessimism. It's sort of, oh, woe is me too, and not paying attention to all the good that really is around you and that's happening through this thing that you're disappointed in. It might not be happening the way you envisioned or the way you wanted, but it's like in the positive note. It's like, let's say you plan to go somewhere today, you plan to go on a trip. You don't get to go on the trip. Something happens, you don't make it to the airport in time. And then, the plane crashes. Well, we'll think about it positively. All the people survive. But the plane crashes. You still rather not have been on that plane. So, oh man, I didn't get to go on my trip. But the bright side is I wasn't on that plane. So it's about looking for the good, even in situations where we feel that something didn't work out the way we wanted. And to remain positive and not sink into that lack of faith just because it doesn't look the way we wanted it to look. That's really important when you're manifesting, is maintaining that positive thought. So find the blessing in your current situation. From the numerology deck to the masculine, rebirth again. So again, this is your biggest focus this week. Allowing something to end that is trying to end. And y'all have a problem with these relationships, like the exes and stuff, or your sometimes current relationships that you know the relationship is in the garbage, right? It's in the crapper, it's been there, and you still try to hold on and hold on and hold on and stay in these relationships and stuff. And that's what it's telling you, that kind of, it's not only for a relationship. Again, this is a general reading, so, but for some, it definitely is. Remember, you guys had the King and Queen of Pentacles here. You got to let go of those things. Again, it might come back to you, that same relationship, if you want it so bad. It may come back to you. But if you want any positive and emotionally fulfilling relationship, reciprocal, all of that, you have to let go of the old. But it applies also to everything else that you've been trying to manifest. You cannot hold on to the old version if you want the universe to give you what, for what you're meant now. And that's what this is about. Rebirth is transition, transformation. It's very death, which we've seen 2 of, right? In this spread, there's 2 death cards. This is the 3rd. Just consider this like the 3rd. Feminine, domestic harmony. Looks like confirmation again, reconfirmation of this. Something going on in your household that was causing you some sort of strife coming to an end. Whether it comes to an end completely this week or it comes to an end ultimately because, again, you receive some sort of notice that you're moving or that somebody in your house that has been getting on your nerve, they're moving. Something is becoming better. Something's getting fixed that's leading to domestic harmony. Masculine from the Animal Tarot, the 2 of Spring. It's another 2 of Wands. Again, this is a soulmate card, twin flame card of the tarot, divine union card of the tarot, but it's also a card of faith and other partnerships. Your vision, creativity, and dedication to your cause have brought you great success. In fact, it may be in your best interest to get a partner to assist you in your endeavors or to expand the number of people who are helping you. That can be with this connected to the unity again too. Finding your tribe and people with whom you resonate, people with whom you align. Feminine, the 2 of Autumn or Pentacles. You may be under stress. Yeah, we talked about that. Because of multiple jobs or too many responsibilities for one person to manage. It's important to balance your work and your personal life and to bring a spirit of fun to all you do. The stress or the decision, or if it is about breaking your life up and finding balance, it's connected to earthly matters. So again, it's something with your home or your work versus your social life, where you have to find the balance, or decision involving earthly matters. Feminine. And for the masculine, the 10 of Water, 10 of Cups is your last card. A contented and rewarding family life. Your emotional and material needs are met. And you have trustworthy relationships at the end of all of this. And I think we saw that, right? The emotional and material needs being met. The King of Cups and the King of Pentacles. In addition to the Queen and the Knight, right? So emotional fulfillment, financial security, just feeling comfort, content, happy with your life. Having allowed the unhappiness to go. You have to let go of the unhappiness so that the happiness can come. And feminine, our last card is similarly the 10 of Earth or Pentacles. A very happy home life. Financial security and finding magic in the little things in life. Just feeling happy to be alive because, it's just that good. You're not even thinking about money and stuff and whatnot. Whatever you have, is making you feel secure and content, or whomever you have. Hope you guys have enjoyed the general. I will be back with the love reading. Namaste.